August 2nd, 2014, Hampden Park, Glasgow. Rain is falling on the track, and the lanes are visibly damp under the stadium lights. In roughly 40 seconds, 8 women's relay teams are going to attempt to run the fastest combined 400 meters of their lives under conditions that punish the smallest technical error. The field is competitive on paper. Nigeria has been building toward this final all season. England is running on home nation momentum with a partisan crowd behind them. Canada, Australia, Trinidad, and Tobago. None of these teams traveled to Glasgow to collect participation certificates. But the conversation before the race kept coming back to one country, Jamaica, and to one name in particular, Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce, two-time Olympic 100-meter champion, whose personal best sits at 10.70 seconds. A speed that makes her anchor position something most relay teams would rather not think about too hard. She is not running alone, though. Karen Stewart, Veronica Campbell-Brown, Shaloni Calvert. This is not a relay team assembled at the last minute. This is a relay program. The question going into the final was not really whether Jamaica would compete. It was whether the rain could manufacture an upset. Relay races in wet conditions have a history of doing exactly that. Dominant teams drop batons. Conservative exchanges cost time. Footing betrays sprinters at precisely the wrong moment. The analytics coming into this race suggested conditions could tighten the field by as much as 4 to 5/10 of a second relative to dry track performance. What happened in the next 40-odd seconds made analysts rewatch the footage dozens of times, not because of the drama of the result, but because of the execution. Pay close attention from the opening gun. Watch the exchange zones specifically. Something is happening there that most casual viewers will miss entirely.
So away they go cleanly, and Asha Phillip looking to put England in a good position, but Jamaica looking strong with Kettle and Stewart already, and the handovers are looking for them clean enough for England at the moment. Blessing Okagbari, the double sprint gold medalist, has it for Nigeria, trying to put them in a good position, but Jamaica leading at the moment. Veronica Campbell-Brown with the baton onto Shaloni Calvert, and England have it now with Jodie Williams, silver in the 200 metres, and Nigeria still in a good position, but England will look to chase them down because Nigeria don't have the strongest anchor leg, but it's Jamaica well clear at the moment. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is going to storm to gold. A huge win for Jamaica, and England trying to get silver. It will be Nigeria. England third, they take the bronze medal, but we thought that England might be able to push Jamaica close. No such things, no thoughts of that. A games record for Jamaica, 41.84. What a performance, dominant from the Jamaican quartet. All four ran well, but Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce put her in that position, and there is no chance that she will be...
41.83 seconds. That is the number in the record books at Hampden Park on August 2nd, 2014, a new Commonwealth Games record. What makes it remarkable is that it was run on a wet track in driving rain, under conditions that typically slow relay times by 3 to 5 tenths of a second. So the question this video answers is specific. How did Jamaica run that fast in those conditions? And what does their execution tell us about how a relay actually works? The relay is often described as 4 sprints joined by baton passes. That framing is accurate and not very useful. A relay is a system of momentum management. You are not just moving a baton from start to finish. You are maintaining a velocity curve across 4 separate human engines, each with their own acceleration profile, stride frequency, and fatigue threshold. The handoff zones are where that curve can break, or where it can be protected and even extended. On a dry track, aggressive exchanges create what coaches call a velocity bonus. The outgoing runner receives the baton while already near race speed, converting the acceleration phase into free meters. On a wet track, that bonus becomes a problem. Footing is unpredictable. Aggressive pushes into the zone risk slipping. Incoming runners arrive slightly slower. Most teams go conservative. Their exchanges slow. Their time suffers. Jamaica compressed their risk instead of eliminating it. Each exchange was executed slightly earlier in the zone than you might expect. Tighter geometry, shorter distance before the handoff, which reduced the window during which the wet surface could cause problems. The trade-off is precision. A tighter exchange demands near-perfect timing. 1/10 of a second off, and the baton hits the hand wrong. In rain, that risk is real. It is a decision only a team with deep relay chemistry can afford to make. Karen Stewart opened Jamaica's race. Her split on the first leg came in at roughly 10.9 seconds. A controlled, powerful opening that gave the team a clean positional advantage heading into the first exchange. What mattered here was not pure speed. It was the line she ran into the curve, keeping her inside shoulder tight and reducing lateral drift, which is more pronounced on a slick surface. A runner who drifts wide on a wet track can lose 4 to 6 hundredths of a second through a single curve. In relay terms, that is the difference between first and third. Veronica Campbell-Brown took the second leg and showed something that does not appear cleanly in a split time. Her stride length through the middle of the curve averaged roughly 2.2 meters, with a cadence near 4.7 steps per second. On a wet track, those numbers reflect a technical adjustment: shorter ground contact, a slightly reduced push-off angle, around 52 degrees, compared to her usual dry track 55, to preserve traction. It looks smooth on camera. What it actually represents is a sprinter recalibrating her entire biomechanical output in real time. Campbell-Brown's split came in close to 10.8 seconds. On a dry track, she would likely have been at 10.6. The wet surface cost her roughly 0.2 seconds. The technique stopped it from being worse. The third leg, Shaloni Calvert, is where the earlier setup pays off. We asked why Jamaica used compressed exchange geometry on a wet track given the mistiming risk. Here is the answer. Calvert received the baton at close to her own race speed, roughly 9.8 meters per second, at the point of exchange, meaning she lost almost no momentum. A conventional looser exchange in those conditions would have dropped that to around 9.3 or 9.4 meters per second. Over 100 meters, that difference compounds. Calvert's split came in near 11.0 seconds, close to her ceiling in those conditions, which tells you the exchange was executed very close to perfectly. The strangest part of this race is that by the time Shelley Ann Fraser-Pryce received the baton on the anchor leg, the technical analysis almost becomes secondary. Not because her contribution does not matter, it does, but because the race was structurally decided at the third exchange. This pattern recurs in elite relay execution. The anchor does not win the relay. The preceding 3 legs and 3 exchanges create a condition in which the anchor cannot lose it. Fraser-Pryce is one of the greatest sprinters in history, but what she ran on that final leg was the product of the system her teammates built, not the cause of the result. Her anchor split ran roughly 10.7 seconds, which, accounting for fatigue and wet conditions, represents a near maximal effort. Her peak velocity through the back straight was close to 10.4 meters per second, below her dry track ceiling of around 11.0, but consistent with conditions. She extended the lead from roughly 3 meters to closer to 8 by the finish line, crossing in 41.83 seconds as a team. Here is the read that will generate debate. Jamaica's margin over silver medalist Nigeria, 42.92, a gap of 1.09 seconds, actually understates how much better their relay system was. Nigeria ran a largely clean race. England's bronze at 43.10 was also solid. The gap was not individual talent alone. It was exchange architecture. Nigeria's 3 handoffs collectively cost them an estimated 0.5 to 0.6 seconds compared to Jamaica's, purely in exchange efficiency. Individual splits across the teams were closer than the final time suggests. This matters for how we evaluate relay dominance. Jamaica was not just faster, they were better constructed. What do you think? When you watch a relay, are you watching the sprinters or the exchanges? Most people focus entirely on the runners. The evidence from this race suggests the exchanges are where the result is actually decided. Drop your read in the comments. What this race teaches applies to every relay at every level. The velocity curve is your product. Every leg and every exchange is either protecting that curve or eroding it. Jamaica in Glasgow protected it at every point, under conditions designed to erode it. That is relay excellence, not running fast when conditions cooperate, but building the system so conditions cannot break it. Next time you watch a relay final, track the incoming runner's speed at the moment of exchange and compare it to the outgoing runner's speed at reception. That gap is the exchange cost. Elite teams minimize it. The best teams on the best days nearly eliminate it. Jamaica nearly eliminated it in the rain. If this breakdown changed how you see relay races, subscribe. Every week on this channel we go deeper into the mechanics behind elite track performances. Like the video, and if there is a relay or sprint event you want dissected next, leave it in the comments. The queue is open.